Friends, if I asked you why Rome collapsed, what would be the first thing that comes to mind? Probably those epic scenes from movies, right? Barbarians storming the gates, endless wars, or maybe emperors poisoning each other in their lavish palaces. But what if I told you that these weren't the real killers? The truth is, Rome wasn't destroyed by an invading army. It rotted, slowly, from the inside. And the real cause of that rot was something you might have in your pocket right now: money. Rome collapsed because it couldn't protect its currency. And the scariest part, the modern world is making the exact same mistakes today. Let me tell you the greatest story of bankruptcy and collapse in history. Our story begins with Rome's famous silver coin, the denarius. Think of it as the dollar or the euro of its time. When it was first minted, it was nearly 100% pure silver. People all over the known world trusted this coin because they trusted Rome. Soldiers were paid with it. Food was bought and sold with it. It was the very backbone of the empire. The denarius wasn't just a piece of silver. It was a symbol of Rome's power and its reputation. But running an empire is an incredibly expensive business. You have to feed the army, build roads, wage wars, and project power across the globe. Eventually, Rome started running out of silver. Raising taxes was a risky move that could easily spark a rebellion. So, what did the emperors do? They turned to the oldest trick in the book. They started devaluing their money. They thought, let's secretly reduce the amount of silver in each coin and mix in some cheap copper. Nobody will notice. That way, we can mint more coins from the same amount of silver. A clever plan, or so they thought. Let's look at the numbers to see just how bad it got. At the height of the empire, the denarius was about 95% pure silver. Fast forward 200 years, and that silver content had plummeted to just 5%. It wasn't really a silver coin anymore. It was basically a piece of copper with a thin silver wash. Of course, the people weren't stupid. They noticed almost immediately. And what happened next? Inflation exploded. An item that once cost a single, pure silver coin now required a whole bag of these new, debased coins. Merchants started refusing to accept the worthless currency. The economy ground to a halt. The beginning of the end had arrived. So, what did the emperors do in response to this crisis? They printed even more money. They thought that by flooding the market with more and more coins, they could fix the problem. Does that sound familiar? What followed was chaos. Decades of civil wars, economic crises, and uprisings tore the empire apart. The Emperor Diocletian even issued a decree setting fixed prices for everything. He declared, "I am fixing all prices. Anyone who raises them will be executed." Did it work? Of course not. You can't just declare that a loaf of bread costs 1 coin and make it so. Inflation continued to rage, and the shelves in the markets went empty. When money loses its value, laws lose their power. Eventually, Rome abandoned its currency altogether and went back to a system of barter. They thought this would be a better solution, but the empire, once the most powerful in the world, could no longer even feed its own army. And so, the mighty Roman Empire simply vanished from the stage of history. Now, you might be thinking, why should I care about what happened in Rome 2,000 years ago? You might even find it a bit amusing, but you shouldn't, because the very same mistake that Rome made is being repeated by our own governments today. Rome stole the real value, the silver, from its coins. Today, governments steal value by printing endless amounts of money through central banks. Think about it. What you could buy with $1 back in 1970 now costs you $6 or $7. The names change, the dates change, but the story remains the same. We've seen this happen time and time again. In Germany, after World War I, people had to carry money in wheelbarrows just to buy groceries. In modern Zimbabwe, people were using trillion-dollar banknotes to buy a loaf of bread. The reason is always the same: printing money that has no real value backing it. So, what's the takeaway for us? You need to understand that inflation is not some random accident. It is a policy choice made by governments. And the ones who always pay the price are the ordinary citizens who keep their savings in cash. The tragedy of Rome teaches us a powerful lesson. When trust in the monetary system disappears, everything else collapses with it. So do yourself a favor. Don't just treat history as a collection of old stories. Use it to understand how the world around you actually works. Because when the next crisis hits, you don't want to be the one caught unprepared. If this sparked a light in your mind, please subscribe to my channel. Here, I'll continue to share not just history's great lessons, but also insights to help you navigate today's complex economic world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.